Now I am with Anders from Survivor Maryland. You can plug your stuff if you want.
Sure. Hi, I'm the host, editor, producer of Survivor Maryland. We have a new season coming out on Monday, February 12th. It is our 8th season, Survivor Maryland Winner Take All. If you don't know what Survivor Maryland is, it is a college Survivor. What could that be? They're not on an island. No, but they are playing Survivor. We take 16 to 20 college students every semester. We put them on tribes. We give them challenges. They face off. They make alliances. They go to tribals. They vote each other off. It's fun. It's dramatic. It's all the things you love about Survivor without any of the things you hate. Unless you hate certain personalities. We can't control that. But they're on a college campus, not an island, but they're still starving. They're still not sleeping. It's still a lot of fun. And if you haven't checked it out, please do. We've got 7 incredible seasons on YouTube. Survivor Maryland All-Stars is considered, one of the best Survivor seasons ever. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's claimed to be.
It is. It's up there. I'll say that. So first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. I heard that you work for CBS. Is that true?
No, I don't technically work for CBS. What I do in my day job, who I am outside of Survivor Maryland, it's all just to help me do Survivor Maryland, right? I need to afford to live in an apartment and to get food and to have a car so I can survive. But Survivor Maryland is the passion, right? I don't get money for this. This is fully free, fully funded by me. This is just a fan game made at a college. They win $100 if they win. It's not $1 million, but it feels like a lot when you're a college student. So, it's on YouTube. We don't make money. There's no advertisers. It's just for fun. So everything I do outside of it is just to be able to make Survivor Maryland. If I could do it full time, I would. But no, I don't technically work for CBS.
Oh my god. All right, cool. Because, Erin told me that you are, well, she didn't say you worked for CBS, but she implied it. She was like, I think you associated with Survivor.
I am a reality TV guy through and through. What does that mean? It's so complicated to say. I would just say that I have a lot of love for reality TV and a lot of interest in it, both as a career or just as a fan. Love TV shows.
How's the life thing? Because obviously, no one talks to you about your life. They only talk about survival. So, how's your life?
What does my life matter? It's been fine. I have been working on this project for years. I've produced 2 seasons fully already on YouTube, Survivor Maryland New Beginnings and Survivor Maryland Major Conflict, both incredible seasons that you should check out if you haven't already. And I've been working on this whenever I have a chance. So when I'm not working, I come home, I start editing. When I have a little bit of a vacation or a break, I'm trying to work on it. I mean, Survivor Maryland is a large chunk of my free time. It is not easy to make. When you watch these shows on TV, you are getting this content so quickly. I mean, they filmed the last Survivor season only a few months ago, and here they have it perfectly made, 90 minutes. Wow, so wonderful. But they have a full-time staff doing it. They have people doing it all day, every day, getting paid so much money to do it. Survivor Maryland is made for free by me. I'm the one person. You don't have a team of editors. You don't have a team of transcribers or of producers or of network execs looking at all of this stuff. I am everything. I am everything in all of them. So it takes so much longer to do all of this. So when you see this 1 hour and 30-minute episode, you have to understand I had to watch all the content in it, cut it down, get all of the bites from the confessionals that I had to cut down as well, put it all together, put the music in, cut it down more. So what has my life been like? Survivor Maryland. And that's why I'm so thrilled to be getting it out, because once it's published, I am done with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been like 4 years since I knew.
It's been 3 years, all right? And I know that sounds like a long time, but it's not the longest time. It could be 4 years.
That's true. Yeah, it could be worse. I mean, hey, I'll put it this way. When I saw the trailer, the notification, I freaked out. I was living my best life. I was like, let's go. And I know every other fan obviously was like, yeah, let's go. That's hype. So, question I have is, what did you major at Maryland? Because obviously, I have no idea. Because I know so much about, the campus and a bunch of other stuff, but I don't actually know what you majored.
Yeah, who I am outside of my hosting is such an interesting Who am I outside of Survivor Maryland is such a great question because so I went to the University of Maryland. I wanted to be in the business school. I really wanted to study business. I thought that would be a great career path. And that's what I focused all my time into until I discovered Survivor Maryland and was like, this is actually what I care way more about. So when I'm not hosting and putting on challenges and doing all of these things, having confessionals, I'm getting a degree in business, which I have. And yeah, I mean, that's what I did. I went to business school, which is great because if I did something like engineering or computer science, something that takes a lot of focus and skill, I would have no time for Survivor Maryland. And I shouldn't say it's an easier major. I would just say a less schedule intensive major.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, like, obviously, I'm in Australia, so I don't know. For me, I didn't know what a major was until I watched Survivor Maryland. So,
Wait, do you guys not have majors?
I mean, I think they call it something else. I don't think they call it majors. Or it's maybe I'm just uneducated, one of the two. Let's be honest, you're kind of the face of Survivor Maryland at this point, so how is that?
You know, it's great to be the face of a college survivor being so far out of college. I graduated in 2018, and let me make it clear. I love Survivor Maryland. I love college survivors. I met a bunch of the hosts in LA or around the country just by happenstance. You know, I know a lot of them. We've become friends. I mean, it's been years. It's great to be a face of Survivor Maryland to a lot of online people. This is a big part of my life, and it's helped guide me to where I am now. Obviously, I do more than just Survivor Maryland, and people who know me outside of the Survivor Maryland community don't know that I even do it. But I love Survivor Maryland. And if I can do any piece to help it stay alive, to keep it alive for another 10 years, I will happily do that. I'll happily post this stuff to at least keep it alive in the online sphere. I don't know what the future is for Survivor Maryland posting episodes online. That is not my job anymore. Will I have seasons come out after season 8? That's such a great question to ask me once season 8 is finished. Not right now, but I mean, I love Survivor Maryland, and I want to do my best to represent it. And I don't always present the most friendly and charming face, but I'm passionate, is something you can say.
That's something I personally respect about you. Not just ignoring like the fact that you created Cold Survivor, because I would debatably say you were the
Well,
father of Cold.
technically, Austin Trupp did it. He was the original founder and host of Survivor
Yes.
Maryland. I would never claim that I came up with Survivor Maryland. Wish I could, didn't. But yes, I am the currently more active face in that way.
Did you even get into Survivor? Like, how did it start?
So I have always been a fan of reality TV. Many years ago, you've heard of the show Total Drama Island, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when that came out and I was a kid, I was obsessed with it. I've always been obsessed with those kind of concepts. I hadn't really like delved into the world of reality TV, but I love Total Drama Island. And so I saw a video online of someone doing a Total Drama Island with Pokemon, and I made my own. I made my own Total Pokemon
Oh,
Island.
right, yeah, because there was a YouTube. I remember that. I remember watching that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but it was popular. But anyways, that was sort of what I focused a lot of my time and energy on. Then I started watching Survivor and Big Brother, and then I found out about online reality games, playing Big Brother or Survivor with people. I played an alias game, which is to say it's not your identity. You're playing as either a real person or you're playing as an inanimate object or a cartoon character. You're just not playing as yourself and you're communicating through text. I played an online reality game when I was a first semester sophomore or second year in college. And then when we were done, I revealed, oh, I go to the University of Maryland. And people went, oh, have you heard of Survivor Maryland? To be clear, these people did not go to the school. So the fact that they knew of something that I didn't, I was like, weird. So I looked this up and I'm like, there is a program at my college where people play Survivor. I want to do this so bad. So I reached out to the founder and host, Austin Trupp. I connected through org website with him and then eventually Facebook. And I was like, I really want to play. When is the next season? And he was telling me, oh, this is actually the final season. This is All Stars. You know, I don't know who's going to be taking over, but we'll have to figure that out when they do. And I've always been kind of a leadership type. I'm someone who gets really into planning and, you know, public speaking, being involved in that way. So I went, well, if you aren't sure who's going to take over, I'd be happy to help out and potentially take over if you need that. I didn't want to superimpose myself. I am someone who's never done College Survivor. I didn't do Survivor Maryland. I didn't want to say, oh, well, I'll just take over because whatever I want to. So I started helping out with All Stars, which was in, not to really time this, but in the fall of 2015. So I started helping out then, and it seemed like there was no one who was going to take over for Austin, and I sort of stepped up. It is very weird to be joining a club one semester and then the next semester be the president, be the highest ranking person making all those decisions. And I had a lot of help from Austin and from a lot of the upperclassmen who had played before, but I was basically taking charge. I was the one planning all the challenges, casting all the players, hosting everything, running everything, doing all the confessionals. I mean, I jumped headfirst into it. I kind of got into it in a very backwards, strange way, but I jumped at the opportunity because when you get the opportunity to be involved with something so unique and so cool and something that you're very passionate about, I mean, even if it's kind of insane, you just got to take the chance, because had I not done that, I don't know if Survivor Maryland would have existed. I mean, it's possible, but had I not hosted, no one would have.
You already answered my next question. I was going to ask, what do you think would have happened had that not became part of Survivor Maryland? But, you know.
I mean, look, Austin created this club from nothing. And theoretically, another person could do that after I'm gone from the school, not from life, just to make that clear. I'm not old and I'm not dying anytime soon. But theoretically, once you leave the college, like, it could happen. I mean, the fact it's still going on, we're on season 22, is insane. It's been over a decade of Survivor Maryland on campus, which is crazy for this fan-made game. I mean, it spawned so many clubs all over the country, and the fact that it still exists is a great testament to the people who are passionate about it and the incredible community that's been fostered there.
Let's just talk about the current season that's coming out. So, Survivor Winner Take All. Where did the theme come from? Is this your idea? What's happening?
Yes. So, Winner Take All, I mean, the title's very generic. Like, you see this and you go, what does this even mean? This is sort of a reactionary response to Season 7. So, Season 7, Major Conflict. I love the season. I love the players in it. But it's undeniable that the strategy at certain points became stagnant. A sort of dominant group took control, and while they faced some difficulties, it was sort of inevitable at certain points. And I think for me, and I'll call them exec, but it was mostly like people voicing ideas and me enacting them. For me and the other people involved, we said, we don't want this to occur. We want to bring people in who want to play hard, who want to try and win, and we want this game to be epic. We want it to be involved. We want things to change rapidly. So the concept was, how do we make a game that incentivizes people to play hard, to not just sit in alliance and stay in that? And that's what Winner Take All is. So the three major aspects of it were bringing in returning players, having an immediate majority minority situation, and then these things that will be announced as game changers, which are just advantages at every challenge. So we brought in 8 returners. We brought in 8 people who already know the game. So when they come in and they play, if you're someone who doesn't really have an idea of what even is College Survivor, how do you play Survivor, you will learn by seeing others do it. If you see these people act in a certain way, setting up talks, telling you these things, blah, 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 you're going to be inspired to do the same. Monkey see, monkey do. I mean, if you're unfamiliar with what to do in strategizing, being strategized with is going to give you an idea. By having 4 returnees and 6 new players on each tribe, the 4 returnees have to do so much to make sure it's not just an easy 6-4 vote. They have to play hard from the beginning or they will be taken out. And by them playing hard, again, it's going to spur the new players to also play hard, because the people I'm bringing back know the game, they understand alliances, they understand the strategy. They're going to be doing more than just 4 versus 6. So the hope is by having all of that happen, you're going to have everyone making alliances, doing a lot more. And then game changers, or the advantages of different challenges, are going to give people the opportunity, if they might be in a minority or a losing position, to switch things up. So things like challenge advantages, tribe swaps, immunities, idols. These things are put into the game to give you a chance. Even if you're on the wrong side of your tribe, you can switch things up. So it's all just to give someone the opportunity to prove they should win it. I don't want a season that ends with someone who, oh, well, I like them more, they should win. I want someone who deserves the title of winner.
It's interesting for me because that was my next question. I was going to ask, why is it that there's only 8 returnees and 12 newbies? Because, yeah, obviously odd even number. But, yeah, no, that makes way more sense because obviously if you have people, you can get them to influence how other people play. And it's like if someone is playing hard, other people are going to play hard, which is great for you guys. Great TV for us. I also thought some of the returnees that you brought back have really good second chance story. People like Doug. Doug played a great game. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there was a bunch of him telling people about the idols. We don't need to go into that. Doug played a great game. I'm happy that he's back. I'm excited for him to be back. I think people like Faye, who literally were playing with a duo with Emmy their entire season, I'm excited to see her get her own individual story out because I was rooting for Faye the entire time her original season, and then she lost, and I was like, no. And then there's just a bunch of other people. You got big names like Dylan. Dylan made a massive splash in his season. And I think a lot of the casting choices were really good. I'm also, my favorite, Sherry. Thank God Sherry is back.
She's back.
She's so iconic. I was so happy she came back. She had so much potential. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done 10 returnees, 10 newbies, but I just feel like when you give returnees the same amount of people as newbies, the returnees are going to kill them. I mean, when you understand how to play this game, when you know what doesn't work, you are just going to play at a better level. It's just the fact of it. Because if you're going into a test and you've already seen what doesn't work or why you failed before, that is one fewer option than more information and therefore one path you know not to go down. These new players are going to make 100 mistakes, but if you're a returnee and you've already made one, you only have 99 possibilities. So I feel like you want to give the returners a disadvantage so that they have to play harder and prove they're good. And again, these returners, I know you might look at some of them like, Morgan, you might not look at her and say, oh, she's the most capable person, but Morgan is a very fun, interesting player who I think she got with a certain alliance and the swap was not great for her. Jam just did not get the numbers they needed, and unfortunately, there was just nowhere to go for her. But she's back and she knows that she has to play a little bit harder. She can't just sit around with one alliance and that's it. You have people like Sherry and Mike and Eggroll or Eric, who all played and sort of had these moments, these splashes, but unfortunately, like, they were just taken out. When you're on the wrong side of the numbers, it's hard to do anything. When you make a big move and it flops, that's it. You're done. And then with people like Faith, Dylan, Doug, Katie, I mean, they're people who made it far into the game. They were so close. 1 or 2 moves different, and they win this game. Katie did win. But why would we bring back a winner? Katie, at this time, this is immediately post Season 4 airing. And for Katie, the reaction of her win was very negative. People were very pro Alex Pascal and very anti her, as if she, when she betrayed him, it was like, wow, Katie didn't really deserve this win. I think since then, people have come around on that idea. But in that moment, Katie was like, I played my ass off and people didn't respect the game I played. So I want to come back and prove that I am a good player and that I can win. And so you have all these people with something to prove. They do have those second chance stories. And I think new challenges. I mean, Doug doesn't have his roommate and his best friend. You have Faith not having her number one. You have Katie coming back as a winner. So I think it is like, what do these players do? Are they going to immediately sink? Are people going to see them and go, Faith is really good, Doug is really good, Katie is really good, get them out of here? Or are they going to go, we got to work with these people? Does Sherry face the same struggles she did in Season 4? Or do people revere her now as this fallen goddess? We love you, Sherry. Work with us, please. And do the players like Morgan and Mike and Eric get that opportunity to sort of change how they were and do better this time? To prove that it was a fluke the first time.
Watch Survivor Syracuse. Have you not? I don't know.
I have not watched all of it, so
basically all you need to know is in their All-Star season, or the season that's came out so far, they have a winner who returns. So it's the same thing with Katie. The All-Star season, not going to spoil too much. It was definitely an interesting dynamic to have the one person who was a winner come back. And I think, honestly, I know a lot of people were like, oh, Katie didn't deserve to win. I thought Katie deserved to win. I mean, I thought she played well. And on top of that, another thing is threat management. Like, if we look at people, what are the returnees' threat management going into the season? Have the newbies seen? I'm assuming they haven't. They knew they were returnees going into the season, but they didn't know like what they did. Is that correct?
So technically, yeah, the new players didn't know. They didn't see the edited versions of Season 6 or Season 7, but we brought people back from those seasons, and they quickly told these things. Like, first day, everyone finds out Faith got Final 2. Everyone finds out about Doug having 3 idols. Like, these things aren't secret. They're going to be talked about by the other players. I mean, they don't see Doug send the text to Sadie, or they don't see Faith absolutely snake out Abel and Miranda. Like, they don't see those moments, but they hear about these things. And the truth is, these players are these players. They're going to see their skills whether or not they fully admit it. And I would say that despite not having the same information we have as viewers, they are very quick to just see those same sort of things. So it's like, you can hide, oh, well, this is a very specific thing I did in my season, but word will still spread of, oh, Doug's a really good player, we should watch out for him. Or Faith, you can just see Faith is a really charismatic, smart player, like she might be a threat. So I would say, like, it really, the only difference is that they got to see more of Sherry and Katie, but they get to form their own opinions. It's so much different watching someone versus playing with them, because watching them, you see basically like that one side of them. When you're playing, you go, oh, here's the good, bad, and the ugly.
Are we going to get any more siblings from past the other night in Survivor Marion going forward, or can you not go into that?
I mean, not in this season. Not in any of my seasons. I will say that one of the players on this season, JS, one of the newbies, his brother is now one of the co-hosts of Survivor Maryland. So there are siblings in the future of Survivor Maryland. But as far as my involvement with siblings of players, hey, best of luck to them.
What would your take be on Survivor Maryland doing like a Blood vs. Water season? Would you be pro that, against that?
I mean, it's so hard to do it. I mean, you're already limited. I think it would be interesting to do a season where you have people bring in a partner or a duo or someone that they're already connected with. I mean, I think any sort of casting twist is very hard to pull off. Doing Major Conflict was sort of for those who don't know, Survivor Maryland Major Conflict was where we hit the humanity majors, so like business, English, theater, government and politics, these sort of less math or science based, more social science or communication based majors against the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, or math majors. And so the idea was like, how does a major influence these players? Which one is the superior? Because I think everyone wants to always say, oh, my studies are harder. Oh, my homework is worse, blah, blah, blah. We just wanted to see what would happen. That was really a marriage of convenience. We had a lot of engineering people. We had a lot of business people. And so it was like, well, we can do this without a lot of alterations. But I think without the money and the spread and the influence of a CBS or major network, it's so hard to do these very interesting or intricate casting twists. And so in my mind, themes are great, but I feel like a good cast is the most important thing, which is why Winner Take All is a theme, but it's not really a casting theme. Because at the end of the day, I'd much rather have a bomb cast than a casting twist, because you just don't want those flops. You don't want people who are going to be boring and bring nothing, because what if they make it to the end? Then you've got a boring person at the end.
Are you still going to be doing live recaps? Because I think you will be, right?
Well, for Maryland, we will have live recaps. Yes, we will have after shows. If you're ever like, man, that was a long episode, I wonder if there's more Maryland content. Don't even worry. We're going to have after shows, which are going to be hosted by me and co-hosted by Aaron Sikri of Survivor Michigan. Many guests from across the college Survivor space and Twitter space, just to talk about these episodes, to really get into the nitty-gritty, talk about our opinions, talk about the fun moments. Because, look, I work a long time on these episodes, and if I can sit down with people and talk about it and have people really ingest all this stuff, because I don't just put stuff in these episodes because it's funny. I put it in because I hope there's a purpose and a greater story arc. I am not drawing the most beautiful artistic plots in the world. I would never claim that Survivor Maryland is the greatest art ever made. But I will say there's a lot of intention and love put into it. So even if these plots are hair thin and it kind of, if I were to explain, oh, this is where it starts and this is where it ends, isn't that cool? And you're like, kind of shaky. That's the thing, though. I'm editing it. I'm going, this would be a funny line to follow. And if you don't get it, I'll explain it to you and you can go, sure, okay, if that's what you want me to believe. But there will be live after shows, and I'm so excited to be talking about Survivor Maryland. I mean, I watch a lot of College Survivor. I think they're fun. I think it's interesting. And, I think in the times where we get frustrated with the CBS Survivor, CBS Big Brother, or whatever shows, like, when you love a show and you get frustrated by decisions made by it, it's easy just to get really annoyed and like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Which is why it's fun to watch lower stakes things like College Survivors, where it's like, it is kind of ridiculous. And this is a silly choice. But at least here, it's like, of course it's silly. These are college students. What do you expect? So I think in those moments when you're like, why are they 800 idols? Why did they do this? And why is this Swiss back? It's nice to just go to a Syracuse or Michigan and just be like, huh, so they're doing COVID stuff now, huh? And just be like, that's what it is. Let's just enjoy the ride. It's fun. So yeah, I mean, I still love College Survivors, still watch a bunch. And if you love Survivor Maryland, there will be plenty of content to enjoy.
Well, I was going to mention how, you already brought it up, about how, if CBS or international Survivor seasons sometimes don't do the best twists, or they'll do decisions that way I wish they didn't do that. A good part with College Survivor, such as Survivor Maryland, is the fact that we get people who are fans of the show, who understand the show in a deeper level than production.
I think when you're a big fan of these shows, it's easy to become very critical of every decision they make and to be like, I really liked it when they did it in this season. I don't like how they did it here. I mean, we all watch these. If you're a big Survivor fan, you'll watch for an American to watch the Australian Survivor. It's like, you do have to be that higher level of, I am a big Survivor fan. And at times you can watch it and be like, I don't understand these decisions. Why are there 80 people playing? And why are there 3 episodes a week? Hold on. So this tribal had no one go home and actually they brought 4 more people in? Why is this person not getting any time in confessionals? Like, you're going to be confused by some of the choices. And I think the beauty of a College Survivor is it is kind of in the same vein of watching an international Survivor. It is like the game, just slightly different. And if you're frustrated by one format, try another. There are things I love about the Australian format. I think it is so fun. And I think it's fun for me, with watching the Australian format, what I love about it is that it feels like these people are having way more fun. It feels like the cast just enjoys the show more, even though it's way longer and seems way harder in the sense of like you're doing it for over 50 days and there's 30 of you. And like, there's so many tribals that just like no one goes home or just one person goes to the other tribe. It's like, this seems insane and horrible. But also, they just have so much more fun. Whereas sometimes in the US Survivor, it can feel really, oh, it's so serious. But also, they get really intense and the stories are really fun. And in College Survivor, it's like, there's not going to be that deep level of faced a lot of trauma in my life, which is nice. But there's also going to be a lot of dumb, petty drama. Like, well, we hooked up and they're not talking to me, so I want them out. It's like, if you want just fun, petty drama, if you want things that are taken so seriously despite it not being that serious, College Survivor is that. I mean, something that got me hooked onto College Survivor was in Survivor Maryland Terrapin Trials. You have these 2 people who are friends have the biggest fight of their lives at a sundial in the rain over something that doesn't make any sense. It's so harrowing. It's so emotional. And when you look at it, when you zoom out, you go, this is just 2 girls fighting about a friend they both thought they had and like a roommate squabble. It's so petty, stupid, whatever, but it's just like, it's so fun. It really grabs you in. And you're not going to have that on the CBS or the Australian Survivor or the New Zealand Survivor or any of those Survivors, because they're higher brow than that. They just have they're talking about starving and needing fire. Here, it's about, you took my dining points and I think you're a nasty little slut. Those sort of things. I think it's what makes College Survivor so special is that it doesn't fall into the same traps you might find with shows that have been on forever. It's a completely different format in a lot of ways, and the whole subject matter is of less importance. Like, these people aren't really starving. They're not playing for $1 million. This isn't the culmination of their life goals. They are students who on their off time vote each other out.
And they form relationships with each other too, as well.
Yeah, so this is just being in college, but also you're given the opportunity to vote someone out of your friend group. You're making new friends and then also betraying them. It's crazy. It's fun. These people get to be competitive in a way you don't normally. And unlike these real broadcast Survivor shows, it's not for this huge prize. It's not for a huge audience. It's just to have fun. It's just something to do at college. And we made into a show.
I mean, I think just the concept of College Survivor is way better than Australian Survivor or any of the international Survivor seasons. Because first of all, you're a fan, you can make your own twist. That's way better. And on top of that, I think it's actually interesting you said it from like an American standpoint, watching Australian Survival. Because the good part about me being Australian is there's people like you who are American, where I can rant about Australian Survivor with someone like you, and you can rant about American Survivor with me. By being on literally opposite sides of the world, we can literally both like have something in common, and that's why I think stuff like orgs are also really dope as well, because we get to connect with people, possibly become friends with them in person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the beauty of Survivor and why college survivors exist in the first place. Survivor as a concept, as a game, is just so enticing. It isn't something that is so American or so, as it was formed, Swedish or Australian. Like, it's something that could be taken to any place or space and just brought in. It's something that brings people together while also tearing them apart. I mean, it's a fun game. At the end of the day, people enjoy it because it's fun to be competitive. It's fun to strategize and be like a little Machiavellian and a little bit manipulative. It's just a fun thing to do, something that you can't normally do. I mean, it's enticing because if someone was like this in real life, lying to your face, manipulating your friends to push you out of group, that's abusive. That's crazy. But when it's for a game, when the point of it is who will win, then it's suddenly like a fun, enticing thing to do. Someone who would otherwise be a horrible friend is a great ally to have in this game. And College Survivor is just like, for a lot of these people, they are coming to college, they're really living their life for the first time, and this is their chance to do something silly, ridiculous. I mean, they are playing Survivor on a college campus. We are outside a dorm with torches, like yelling at each other like, you voted my friend out. And it's like, well, I don't like you. That's so silly and ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And it's something that is just so enticing to be involved with. And I think Survivor Maryland was a great experience for me. A lot of people gained a lot of friends and a lot of fun moments. And this season is incredibly fun. I will say that, like, out of all the seasons I did, this season is the most dramatic season. So many fights, so many just conflicts occurring. It is an incredible season that I just think is fun. I think that there's just so many great moments in it, and really excited to share it because College Survivor doesn't have that same level as US or Australian Survivor on so many other ways. It doesn't have that depth of storytelling. But what we do have is fun and drama and comedy. And that's what we're going to do. That's what it's going to be. There's going to be strategy. There's going to be moments of like sadness and happiness, but also they're not playing for $1 million. This is not life or death. And they're still going to fight about it. This is still the most serious thing to them.
You're playing or involved with production when, especially with College Survivor, since College Survivor is filmed, it's also like a video diary of like your experience as well, which I think is actually really dope. Because like for you, I mean, now you have hours upon hours of footage that you can look back on and you can cherish those memories, these good times as well.
Yeah, I mean, not to age myself right now. This was filmed in 2017.
This might sound rude, but how old are you?
Wow, that's so rude to ask. I'm 28.
Not 30, you're good.
Yeah, and I'll be 28 forever. So, you know, it is interesting to look back and be like, okay, I've always looked like this. Great. Also, it's cool to see all of this because, like, you know, I'm friends with a bunch of these people. I still see them, and just to look back and be like, I hear their voice all the time. This is how they spoke, and this, it is a time capsule. I mean, the slang that people use, the references that are current are just so outdated now. If there's any song references, if there's any of that, it's just like, wow, that song has been dead in the water for a while. It's very cool. It is sort of a time capsule. It is its own moment. This is a period of time, like, there's going to be references to, and I know this is more of an American thing. This is right after the 2016 election when Donald Trump becomes president. This is a few weeks after he is inaugurated as president. So there's going to be a bunch of references to the fact that he just became president. And it's like, right now in 2024, you'd go, okay, yeah, that happened a while ago. Well, to these people trapped in this little mirror box you've got, trapped in this hell dimension, that's their life. And we're in Maryland, so we're not that far from DC. We are a good 30 minutes outside of DC. So it's very in our backyard, very of the moment. But yeah, it's very cool to look back and be like, wow, this is me as a child. I had braces and I just look the same. So it's cool in that way. I also hate my voice, so I'm very quick to be like, delete, 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 skip, skip, skip. I don't need to hear myself.
I think that's just everyone. I don't think it's just you. Don't worry. We're all subconscious.
Oh yeah, but I'm also editing myself, so I have to be like, and then I get mad when I go, why'd you say it like this? But
all I've got to say is, what's Gucci, yo?
oh
Yep.
my god, I mean, I still say that now. What's Gucci-o? I mean, I love Evan Mungan, but very, very of its moment.
You know, all the time, or like I'll be dropping like Survivor, cold Survivor references, and like then we just won't get it.
Well, it's of its own time. I think it's harder, especially because that slang is definitely not used. This stuff is a little old, but most of it'll translate, I think. But yeah, it's very funny that it's been so long, and it also feels like it hasn't. I'll say the pandemic really made time go really fast. It's sort of all become one big glob.
What was your life like in the pandemic? Obviously, you were probably just.
Well, I got to do season 7. That's what got released in 2020, and it's because of the pandemic I had time to do it. So I'll tell you what, post-pandemic, in the sense that that not everyone's wearing masks and we have to go into work, has made it much harder to edit a show than when we all had to be inside and work was all remote. So I would never say the pandemic was a good thing, and it's still going on, et cetera, et cetera. I do miss when we all had to stay home and I had time to just edit, because when you have nothing else to do, editing seems great. But now that you can do things, I don't know. I guess I have to stay home and edit, but I'd really like to go see Madam Web.
Oh my god. So, are you currently watching Australian Survivor, the new season?
I haven't caught up. There's so many episodes, it's hard for me to keep up. I mean, what's your take? Is it a good season so far?
What do you define as a good season? That's what we need to define.
Well, I know last season was amazing. Everyone loved it. I would never say this is comparable. Would you say that you're enjoying it so far?
It's better than past seasons, I'll say that. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you noticed, but in Australian Survivor, people tend to stick together based on their challenges. They're like, oh, we got to burn out the weakest. And obviously, for us, we're like, well, fuck that. We don't want that. That's boring. It's better, but obviously, we're only, like 6 week 2 into the season. We need more content. The edit, They've gotten better with the edit, but obviously there's still problems with the edit where like it exposes which way people voted. The winner, for example, is normally pretty obvious, but I think that's just every reality TV show. I don't think it's just Australian Survivor.
I mean, I think with so many people, it's hard to give a balanced edit to everyone. And as someone who edits a little bit, like, you're trying to tell a story. And sometimes the best perspective is the one who's going to last the longest and knows the most. You know, balanced edit is great. I do wish we got to know all the characters. Sometimes it's just not how it is. Australian Survivor really does have the most people on any Survivor. So, of course, sometimes it's going to feel a little imbalanced. I enjoy the characters they do show.
That's good. Oh, so who are you rooting for this season? Just curious.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to say, because I'm like, well, I don't know if they went home. And let's let who I don't want to jinx it. I don't want them to go home. So I'm going to telepathically tell you who I want to win, and you're gonna know, but I will not say it out loud because
Okay.
I want them to win.
Here's the thing. As long as you have your fingers crossed, I think you'll be all right.
I'm not gonna risk it.
Okay, so what have you seen? Just so I don't spoil anything.
I'm not afraid of spoilers. I've only seen like the first 2 episodes.
First 2 episodes, yeah. See, we're coming into a swap now, so that will be interesting. I mean, there's some big characters this season, like Ferris, Kirby, Nathan was a big character.
Was a big character,
yeah, before he got eliminated. Which, by the way, I'm happy Nathan's gone. Like, I don't need that. Like, I get it from like, oh, he's a professional athlete. We're gonna get more viewership from the show.
Right.
But from like a fan perspective, I'm like, that could have been me. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been anyone, not him. But it's fine.
I think they've got a really strong cast. I think it's fun, and I'm excited to see what they bring. I think so early in a season, it's hard to know who's going to be the real breakouts. I think you're going to have those early risers, but you got to give people time to develop their stories. I mean, we're only, as you said, 2 weeks into it. So, and that's how I feel with Survivor Maryland. You know, the first episode of season 8, I think I have a confessional from every single person, but you're not going to get everyone's story immediately. Some people take a while. I mean, only one tribe's going to tribal this first episode, so you don't get everyone's perspective immediately. The hope is as time goes on, people get more development, people become favorites, others become favorites. You get a whole mixture of it.
I thought it was interesting because when Major Conflict was coming out, Tim was my winner pick, and then Tim just like didn't get a single vote, and I was like, oh.
No, he did. He got 2 votes.
Oh, he did? Okay, my bad.
That's why there was a
that
tie.
season in ages, to be fair. But,
He got it was a 3-3-2. His closest allies voted for him, and it was just, look, I love Tim. I hate him as a Survivor player. I love him as a person. Tim's great. He's such a kind person. He is funny. He's sort of like what's that sad clown? Oh, Pagliacci. He's very Pagliacci coded. But Doctor, you know this reference, do you not? You never know if someone's been Pagliacci. Anyways, look, Tim as a Survivor player is just endlessly waiting for an opportunity to land in his lap rather than making a move. He is someone who is wishful thinking and never doing. It's frustrating to know that something could happen and watching them stand in the dirt, put their head under the sand and go, I will not make this move. I will say this about winner take all. You do not have someone in this season who is not willing to make a move. I think you're going to see people make moves. You're going to see things happen. And I'm going to tell you this. Things are going to happen. You're not always going to love it. And I think that's the beauty, right? You want this season to be fun. You want those moments of, oh my God, did this just happen? Because only one person can win. And you're going to enjoy and hate every second of it. Already, I'm imagining in my mind the episodes where a favorite goes home and people are pissed. But I'll say this. Big reactions are always better than no reaction. So if you hate it, that's still a reaction, baby. You're still giving me what I want.
Exactly. Publicity is publicity. Even if it's bad publicity, you're still getting your content out there. You want people to talk about it, so it's still something.
And you can't downvote these. You can't unlike or dislike a video anymore. So who cares?
Dislike it won't. Feature, but that's sick. Benefits you.
I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for how people react to it. I have in my mind who I think people are going to love and hate. We will see. And this season's going to be fun. I'm excited for everyone to finally get to see it, to have new favorites, to crown their new kings and queens, and to maybe take away crowns from other ones. Maybe take away. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Maybe this is the season where everyone loves Doug. Maybe they all hate Katie. Maybe they love a new player or hate one. I mean, as much as I want to just love these returning players, and they deserve their flowers, they deserve to be noted and beloved and talked about. We've got 12 new players who all are bringing new things, and they're going to be great. You know, they're going to have their experiences. They're going to play their own game, and we're going to watch them do it. Maybe at the expense of our faves, maybe in the favor of our faves.
The only 2 newbies I know are JS and Tony. I don't know from where, probably the old community. So that's who I already know about. Everyone else, new face, never seen them before, never heard of them. That's good though. Good.
One of those newbies could be the winner.
Could
so
be,
you may find out about them.
Talking about All Stars, I've got to talk about this. I want to know what your thoughts were when Senti changed their vote and Sierra went home. I want to know. I'm curious.
So the Senti tribal, the tribal where Sierra was sent home, that was the first tribal I ever worked on as a crew member. It was at like 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, so late. People were drinking. It was very cold. Actually, it probably wasn't even very cold. It was in the fall. It was chilly. It was brisk. My thought on it is what makes Survivor Maryland also, and a college survivor also so different from these other shows is that these people know each other. They live on the same campus. They see each other at classes. They're in clubs together or fraternities. They interact with each other outside of this game. The friendships they have are real and last much longer than the game does. Like after the season, you're still going to see these people. You may still be friends with them. And that does weigh in their mind of what do you do? You cannot separate the game from friendship. You just can't, because you're not a different person in the game. You're still yourself. You'd hope your friendship would last beyond it. And it usually will. I think that in those moments of like, do I betray a friend for this game or do I go back on my word and keep them? I completely understand the impulse to be like, I'm not going to fuck over my friend for a move in this game. Like, I care about them more than I do the game. I think that's totally respectable. I mean, it's boring for us watching. I mean, that's why a lot of people were mad last season. But I think sometimes it's also the story of it, right? Sometimes friends are the more important thing here. And you can still win and respect your friend. That's the story of major conflict. People look at major conflict and they, not to get on my soapbox and explain why I love major conflict.
No,
People want to
go
look at
ahead.
major conflict and they're going to yell about, oh, well, the strategy's kind of lame and I'm not happy with the winner. The story of that season, maybe it's results oriented, maybe it's looking back. It's not the story of why this person wins. It's the story of how does friendship affect the game and how can you both care about your friends and win this game. You don't have to choose one or the other. And sometimes it's not the most popular decision, but you can have it all. You can be the good person. You can be the one valuing your friends, respecting them, and still beat them. So yeah, I mean, I don't fault Senti. I think it makes complete sense. And while I think it would have been absolutely amazing if that blindside had happened, I think it's even funnier it didn't.
I think it is too. Like at the time when I was watching it, I was like, "This sucks, worse than never." But like in hindsight, with Chris Thomas winning, came from the bottom like the whole time, I think it's a great story arc. I think because of that tribal, it made Chris Thomas's win more impactful. The viewer standpoint, that is.
And, you know, you got to imagine, had that blindside been pulled off, Chris Thomas may not have won.
I don't think he would have won had that happened. Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to say. I think you can't have the winner without the moves made along the way, even the moves that aren't good for them. So, disappointing result for sure, but really exciting fallout, and it led to what it led to. And that's why it's a very fun moment.
I don't know how people feel about Santi's win, but at the time, I was pissed off. I was like, fuck this sucks. In hindsight, a few years later, now that I've aged, I've matured, I'm actually really satisfied with Santi winning. I think Doug using that final tribal and then coming back in a new season is actually probably the best story arc for someone like Doug, sort of like a Russell Hand sort of figure, where we're gonna get to see Doug probably not steamroll everything that he wants to do. And I think seeing Doug play from the bottom is you're right, I think it is gonna make people want to root for Doug more because we do know him already.
And I think season 7 he did have such an advantage, and that's fine. He played great. The issue is just that I think the two big moments that make Doug's whole journey in season 7 so hard is final 6, when you have this insane, and it was insane to me. I truly was like flabbergasted it occurred. I was not told they were doing this beforehand. I was shaking, seeing, oh my God, he could go home. And to watch Santi and Tim refuse to do anything but rocks. I mean, it's very frustrating to see that when you know Doug had all the means in the world to avoid this and didn't because he was cocky, and they still kept him. And then obviously the result of Final Four and the reveal of what he'd been doing with Sadie. It's like Doug had been given everything in the world. He had done so much, and yet still it was never enough. And ultimately it was like, how can you be the most ruthless player, willing to do anything, and then also need your friends to keep you? Like, please, 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 or we won't be friends. And then also talk shit about it. Like, you're either a villain or you're a friend. You cannot be both in this scenario. He chose both, and then because of that, he had to repair his friendship with them and couldn't fight them at Final Tribal. And I think Doug is, in my opinion, a fantastic guy and a great player. And I went, had he won, I'm not bringing him back. Had your moment. But losing after playing so hard and doing all of that, I mean, legend. I want you to come back. I want people to know that you're ruthless and willing to do whatever. And I want you to play without the advantages. I want you to show that you're capable without having your besties around. And yeah, I think Doug is starting on the wrong foot. He's starting without any advantages. And even worse, he's starting with 3 people that he did vote out: Morgan, Mike, and Eric. Now, while he's not going to be on the same tribe as Eric or Mike because he did directly vote them out, and Morgan's the least offended by him, he's still going to have to work very hard to fight against the preconceived notions other players will have about him, fight against the reputation to get even close to the end. I mean, you cannot go from runner-up a few weeks ago, literally last semester, to coming right back and expect to win without putting in a lot of work.
So wait, how young was it? Was it literally like 4 weeks?
The finale for season 7 occurred in December of 2016, and this season starts in February of 2017. So about like 6 weeks between the finale to premiere. Yeah, so Doug has had literally no time to recover. So he's right back into it.
Well, I mean, look, I love Survivor. I don't know how willing I'd be to do it like that again after that straight away, but gotta give them props.
I mean, it's hard, but imagine you got so close and it's like, I could have another opportunity. I'm gonna take it.
Oh, I'd take it, but like, I meant like the mental stress.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never played, so I'm good. My brain is good. His not probably the best time.
We're not going to be seeing you be a George playing in the future season. Can confirm, just not happening.
Confirmed, not happening.
Damn.
I know, so sad. I would never want to play out of fear of getting sent home early. I wish I could be a George and definitely make merge, but you know, these players have interacted with me, and I think that's enough for them to be like, it'd be really funny to vote out Anders. And it would, and I don't want that. So I can't be voted out.
So you've never had a vote against you, is that correct?
In Survivor Maryland, that is correct.
Well, let's change that today. All right, I have the votes. All right, the winner for Survivor Maryland, Season 23. Anders, let's go.
Finally, I'm coming. Yeah, I go back to grad school at Maryland and play. Yeah, I mean, if only. If I had won a season, I'd edit that baby so quickly. I'd be like, I won? That's crazy. Absolutely not.
I would love to see you play from a fan perspective. I think you would. What would you even do? What would your strategy be? A type of thing.
I think I'm better not playing. I think that I am very fun and sassy and whatnot, but I think if I had to actually interact with players, they would not want to work with me. I think they'd be like, he knows too much, he's this or that. It's like sometimes it's better to just be a personality than be a player, because you can't vote me out no matter how much you're mad at me. And that's the way I like it.
Yeah, and you get to watch them vote each other out as well.
Exactly. Survivor Maryland, it's like, even if they love me, they'd still vote me out. Easy to vote out. I would be blindsided, and most likely very early, and that would be crushing. You know, it's better to never play and never get pre-merge than get pre-merge. I want to be dateable, so I won't.
You want to be dateable? That's in your requirements on that.
Is that you can't be pre-merge? I won't date someone who's gotten pre-merge in anything. It's just unacceptable.
What about orgs? Is it out of the question?
Yeah, if you tell me you played orgs and you got pre-merge, sorry, get merge.
Get merge. Oh, God. This is the unaired content I didn't know I needed. Like, I came in here thinking this was just going to be like an average. Nah, way better. Making the time to come on here and like talk to me.
Happy to do it. Happy to talk about Survivor Maryland. It's coming out February 12th. It'll be out every Monday until it's done. There should be 16 episodes this season, so get excited. Look, I'm happy to advertise it. I'm excited for this season. It's been a few years in the making, and it's going to be great. So look forward to it. If you don't like my voice, congratulations. I'm not in that many of the episodes. If you love my voice, congratulations. There will be after shows. I will be talking. And if you're like, I could, take it or leave it, I will be in the episodes some of the time, and there will be after shows that you can watch whenever. So keep that in mind.